Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. We are doing another special edition here at Ghost Train Brewing Company out of Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Just at the beginning, you're just going to go straight into that, huh?
He cared, yeah.
He cared. Okay. Welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. We are here back at Ghost Train for a bonus edition here. The people at Ghost Train were nice enough to share some additional special beer for us, so we are super excited about it. Before we get to that, though, just know that this is a show where we give our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking, and we're super excited about this beer. Also, check us out on social media. Links are below in the description, and be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell.
Good looking links there.
We really appreciate it when you give us some feedback about what we're doing here and let us know that you enjoy watching our videos. So, with all that, what are we
drinking? Yeah, you're Ben, that's Jay, and I'm Andy.
And he's out of the attic.
Yeah,
and he
clearly,
Look, I have so many things to have to try to piece together.
You have so much on your plate.
It's perfect, man.
That's why I'm here to help.
Exactly.
So,
Andy,
you
go ahead.
No, I talk too much.
No, this is a very exciting one. The folks at Ghost Train, they acknowledged that we're here and wanted to give us something special. So they have an oatmeal stout that they age in bourbon barrels that Andy's going to elaborate on a little bit. So they have different variants of that, and we're going to kind of experience each one of those and rate them as we go.
Yeah.
This could be a little challenging because the ABV on these is through the roof.
13.9%.
It's going to be fun, right?
So they're Imperial Oatmeal Stout. And like you said, they age in different types of bourbon barrels. So we're going to be having a Maker's Oatmeal Stout, a Bullet Oatmeal Stout, and an Elijah Craig Oatmeal Stout. They call it, I got to look up because Idée Fixe. This is my very one.
Idée Fixe.
Idée Fixe. It's an idea or desire that dominates the mind, an obsession, a reoccurring theme or fixed idea.
Yeah. They said it was somewhat related to the music industry. Yeah. So
aged for 16 months. They said a range from 18 to 24, but the bottle says 16.
Yeah. So we're super excited about this one. We're gonna really see.
Yeah. Definitely thanks for thanks to the people from Ghost Train for sharing this with us. Super excited to give it a shot. I mean, you can look at it. Hopefully, this comes through. You can see the different colors. I hope I don't mess this up, but we've got the
Maker's
Mark, Elijah Craig,
and
the Bullet.
Yeah.
So I think we are all fans of bourbon as well. So this is super exciting and tasting for us.
The folks here at Ghost Train have told us they have a special relationship with the Alabama Bourbon Group. So they get these barrels pretty regularly. If you get a chance to visit their facility back over here behind us, there's a whole slew of barrels that are aging, all sorts of months. You can see the details written on them. It's pretty exciting stuff. So
and keep your hands off of them.
Yeah, don't touch. So I say we get to drinking these, and then Andy can even give us a little bit of the mystique of Ghost Train because we haven't understood that as much.
Well, you just pretty much summed it up. This is the Maker's.
Ooh.
I'll start with Maker's Mark. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Mate.
I smell booze.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is chocolate bomb. Wow.
I expected more of a boozy flavor given the smell, but when you taste it, it's not boozy
aroma,
overpowering.
if you will.
Yeah.
That aroma, when you get a good whiff of this, you're like, I'm going to regret this.
Now, on the back end, after you let it sit there for I don't know, 3, 4, 5 seconds. It gives you a little burn, kind of like a bourbon would, in my opinion.
Feel that now.
Yeah,
A little bit,
yeah.
but you
call.
get just the oatmeal comes
The
through,
oatmeal,
too.
the chocolate. I mean, that's a great offering. To take that amount of time and effort into that,
It's rich.
it's very
is.
rich.
I think it would definitely be hard to have more than one of these. But I'm super interested.
So we're
to
having
see-
3.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to have 12 ounces, 16 ounces.
I'm super interested to see how it correlates to the
Yeah.
different bourbons.
It's almost like I do it as a standard bourbon barrel age stout, and I try and rate it to what I feel it should be like. And it's like I almost want to try all 3 to say, because in my silly head, I don't want to pick a favorite, but
How did
I'm
you
gonna go
drink
first.
that much so fast?
I take big tugs.
Wow, that's
And I want to get it all in. So while I'm talking, I'm just going to go ahead and rate it. This is a fantastic one.
absolutely.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 because I like that it's not. I like barrel aged, but I don't want it too boozy where all I'm tasting is bourbon. I want a beer,
Right.
not just bourbon, because I can go pour some bourbon. 8.5. They did a great job on balancing that.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in there and say that, I agree. It's you get all the great flavors in there. I've had a lot of Maker's Mark over the years. I don't pull Maker's Mark out of that, which is okay. I mean, that's not the point. But at the same time, it produces a great beer, taking that oatmeal stout and putting it in the Maker's barrels. So, 8 for me, for sure. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The more you drink on it, you feel a little bit of that burn.
You do get the burn.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
that
It's there.
bourbon
It'll taste
burn.
insane.
It's this would be a fantastic, brew to sit by the fire, roast some marshmallows, maybe pour it over ice cream. I don't know.
No, it would be a good flavor.
It's great. I agree with you, Andy and Ben. I mean, I'm so glad that they took the time to offer this to us. Special thanks to Ghost Train. I rate this an 8.5 as well.
They
So,
recognize talent, right?
or beauty.
Yes.
Or none of the above, but
Yeah.
we're here.
It's like we got extra beer we got to get rid of.
All right, that's going to give us an 8.3 for the. Pronounce it wrong?
Well, we're from Ghost Train Brewing Company. Idée Fixe.
Idée Fixe.
Yep. All right, so that's going to give us an 8.3 on the one
No.
that is the Maker's.
Idée Fixe, Maker's Mark,
Oatmeal Stout.
Oatmeal
Imperial
Stout.
Oatmeal Stout.
So this is the Maker's Mark version.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to have the Idée Fixe Elijah Craig version. So this one, you can tell there's a difference in the color here. It's going to be interesting to see if we can detect anything from the subtleness of this. Again, super excited about it. Thanks again to Ghost Train.
Yep.
Cheers, mates.
Yeah. I smell a little more tang on this one.
Yeah.
Definitely a little more tang.
Wow. It's amazing the variation between
It is.
those two. The
Same beer,
discussion.
different barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the discussion we had with the folks here from Ghost Train, putting the same beer into all these different barrels and seeing the different variations come out and the different flavors and notes. I mean, to me, this one, I don't know, I seem to detect more like a raisin flavor or something along those lines coming
more of a
through.
fruit.
It's,
Fruit, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's
I
just
think
just
raisin,
crazy.
yeah, I was thinking, what is that? I'm smelling.
To think
Yeah,
that makers would
raisin,
come
yeah.
through more chocolatey, and this one's got more of a fruit raisin type. So
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I think just, again, we kind of mentioned this on the top, that the different colors are even just amazing that you would get the same beer in different barrels and pour out, some darker versus a lighter one here that we have. But yes, you hit the head on the nail. Nail on the head.
that's a 13.9.
Just look pretty and drink. Huh?
Yeah. you hit the nail on the head by saying that raisin. I mean, that's
raisin,
definitely the
prune
flavor.
somewhere in there. It's just prune, yeah. So
Yeah, and I can't think in my mind the difference of the tones of a Maker's versus Elijah Craig, which is darker, which is lighter. So that's pretty cool, man.
that's
fun.
amazing to see the
Glad we got
differences.
this
in
opportunity.
those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So what do you think you rate this one, Joe?
You know that it's hard to differ. I can't. It's another great offering, and even though this one would have more of a fruit base to it or fruit taste to it, not really a base. I mean, it's the same beer. I think I still have to go with an 8 for this one. I know I did an 8.5 for the other, but this would be an 8 for me. These aren't things that I could drink all day long. I mean, obviously at 14% or 13.9,
Yeah.
but it's a great offering, and they really do good beer.
Andy, what you think?
Hey, very good. I like it. I think I'll put it a little bit lower than the Maker's one. When I'm out drinking a stout, I'm not expecting the fruit, and so I want a little less fruit. But I still like it, and I would drink it again. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's fun. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think for me, having that again, twang is the best way I think we can describe it.
Tang.
Tang, twang,
Yeah.
tang,
Twang. I like twang.
twang. 2 twangs and a tang.
I said tang earlier, and now you change it to twang. You can have twang all you want, but don't credit it to me.
Tang was the orange space drink that they, the astronauts
That's
took.
what they named it, but it's still got a.
We're not in Huntsville. We're in Birmingham.
Come on, that's a
So
twang.
with the twang here, I think that drops it a little lower for me. Again, when you start with that oatmeal stout base, and we look at the Makers, that chocolatey is really more what I'm looking for. This one to me is a little bit lower on that because of
Too much
that.
fruit.
Yeah, it's just a little too much. It hits you a little too much. So with that, I'm going to go with a 6.5 on this one.
I wonder though. I mean, so these are aged in different barrels. It's the same beer going in. Shouldn't really matter that much, right? They should all come out the same. Well, ironically, they don't. They're different colors, they're different taste, everything else.
Chemistry.
So it makes you think about, well, all right, what was going on with that bourbon versus the other bourbon? Did they
doing
have
in
different
Kentucky?
pollinations? Did they have different notes that they were trying to hit in those specific barrels? It would be interesting if we could understand a little further, and I know Ghost Train, thanks to them for this, but to understand what barrels they actually came from. Was that like a Maker's Mark Normal? Was that an Elijah Craig toasted, or was it something that they had done off, their standard? I don't know. It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see what the oatmeal stout beer going in pulls out of the wood.
Absolutely.
Just
Well, it's
how it pulls
interesting,
out.
and I'm gonna just kind of go off a little bit. So, Jameson, Irish whiskey, they have a series in which they take the barrels that they gave to a beer, an Irish stout company or an IPA, a beer brewer, and the beer company brewed their beers in the Jameson barrels. Well, Jameson took them back and put their Irish
Whiskey in
whiskey
them, yeah.
back in it.
Yeah.
And so
You see the
changes
cycle,
flavors.
yeah.
And so the wood holds on to the flavor, and so it just depends on how you make your alcohol, what sits in the wood, and what you can get back out of it.
Well, you see it even further. I mean, a couple other examples I've seen in the last, 36 months. Folks have taken like a Pappy Van Winkle barrel and put maple syrup in it. And then they have a maple syrup that you can put on your pancakes that's aged in Pappy barrels.
And
Seems like a waste.
Upcharged. I'm sure.
2,000%.
But we see these things. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You get all these different flavors, but it's shocking to me to see the differences, knowing that this was the exact same beer that went into these barrels, and it aged minimum of 16 months. I mean, they told us basically these are more like 18 to 24 months. The color variations, the taste variations, and we haven't even gotten to the third one yet.
We're still
So,
Yeah, let's stop talking.
So, yeah, so 7.3 is our rating for the Elijah Craig Oatmeal Stout.
Idée Fixe.
Yeah, I'm
Idée
going
Fixe.
to lean to you to pronounce it right.
Yeah.
So.
You know, you look at it, the difference. All right, we had one rating for another, but it's all going to be one bottle.
Yep.
Whenever you see it, so just something to consider. You could get different variations based on which barrel it came out of.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to our third option here. It is the Oatmeal Stout, again, in the Bullet 14-year barrels. Idée Fixe here, so we're super excited to give this one a try based on the others.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Based on the others, which we're just eager to try it.
I need to start over.
Nope. Ooh, yeah, it's similar to that maker. It's got that chocolatey smell.
But it is lighter. You know?
And yeah, he said it was a lighter body.
He, being the wonderful staff here at Ghost Train, has offered these up to us. This one being much lighter than the makers, in my opinion.
Yeah, the makers is definitely the more thick, the more chocolatey, definitely the heavier of the three that we've tried here. I mean, I kind of, for me, before I even not rating this, I kind of put this somewhere in between. It definitely has that twang that we've talked about a little bit from the Elijah Craig,
Don't call me.
but not quite so much.
To me, it's more like the makers than the Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
More of that chocolate finish, less of the fruit.
The fruit's still there for me, a little bit. So I put it in between.
Yeah, which would make it a little lighter feel.
Yeah.
Still get the burn.
Don't get the burn or still get the burn?
We'll get some Pepsi after this.
Yeah.
Honey. So let's rate it.
What you think, Jay?
I think I'm gonna go 8.
You're a man of many words.
Yes.
I'm gonna just go off of what I said earlier. Really good. I like the chocolate feel. I don't get too much fruit. This is what I want in a stout, and especially a barrel-aged stout. I expect a little of boozy flavor, but it's not over booze. So I'm not just pummeled by bourbon. You can get on the back end, get the chocolate, you get the stout. Really good. I'm giving you an 8.0 as well. Nice.
All right, I think for me, I think that if I had to, now looking at these, pick one that I enjoy the most, it's definitely going to be the makers. Probably not a big stretch there. I actually like makers is probably, it's not my favorite bourbon, but it's definitely one that I would lean to in the kind of lower end of bourbons. Say all that to say that I definitely like Bullet as well, but I don't like it as good as makers. So I'm not going to rate this as high. I'm going to put this at a 7 for me.
Definitely a bias.
And somewhat unprofessional.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that'll give us a 7.7 for the Bullet 14-year barrel oatmeal stout here at Ghost Train.
And something we learned about Ghost Train, which we not much learning, we can't get an idea of why it's called Ghost Train Brewing Company. There's a definite mystique to the name of the railroad industry, as well as was there some accidents at a railroad crossing here in Birmingham? Who knows? We've been sent down many paths. So it's Ghost Train Brewing Company, Birmingham, Alabama. If you actually know it, comment, and we will look into that. Hey all, welcome back at Ghost Train Brewing Company. As a special bonus, we have been given a local distillery here. So at Ghost Train, they also serve liqueur, mixed drinks, alcohol.
Frozen drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the lemon verbena liqueur, which they use with locally grown products. So.
Great way to wrap up the
It is rather
episode.
aromatic. Yeah, this is
Oh,
a great,
fantastic.
You talk about the fragrance coming off this.
Yeah.
It's something
Lemon.
else.
definitely get some lemon.
Absolutely. Fantastic smell here.
Nice.
Definitely.
Great way to close out.
Yeah, way to close out Ghost Train.
Yeah.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mate.
Man,
Very
you get
good.
that honey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honey.
It smells lemony, but you get the
Smooth.
honey.
That is smooth.
That's fantastic. Definitely, guys, we can't overemphasize this. If you get a chance to come to Ghost Train, do it. It's
Jeez.
the guys here have been fantastic to us. We've definitely enjoyed our time here, and you should come check them out. Try their beer. The beer's great. If you get a chance to try some of their liqueur as well, do that. We definitely appreciate this,
Thick,
guys.
man. It coats. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Good times.
Good times. Great times.